These are 5 lessons I wish I knew before starting a cleaning business. So if you're thinking about setting up a cleaning company, or if you already have one and feeling a little bit overwhelmed, then this video is for you. So I've worked with hundreds of cleaning businesses over the years, and the same 5 issues come up time and time again. So in today's video, I want to take you through the 5 lessons that I wish I had at the very start. These will save you time, money, and ultimately reduce the frustration. So let's dive straight in. So first of all, managing people is difficult. So at its heart, the cleaning business is still one where you're managing people. So whether you're managing your cleaners on one side or whether you're managing clients on the other side, ultimately, if you don't like managing people or if you're not very good at it, then you really want to think twice before getting started with this business or thinking about it long term. Because in the cleaning business, managing staff is arguably the most difficult part of the business. You know, you're managing lots of different personalities. You'll have cleaners that are super reliable. You'll have others that are less reliable. There'll be things going on in their personal lives that you'll need to be aware of. And it is very common that you could get a fantastic cleaner who does a great job, and then suddenly the next week they don't show up to their jobs. You know, this type of thing really happens quite often. So managing your workforce, managing and helping your staff through any issues that they're dealing with is going to be really, really important. So the cleaning management side is difficult, but also on the client side, you know, every single client has their own specific wants and desires, and you know, you'll get low maintenance clients that just book you in and want you to come in every week, and they're fantastic and they pay you every week, and your cleaners are really happy to go and clean for them. But then you'll get high maintenance clients as well, and dealing with these high maintenance clients can be more tricky. You know, I remember particularly early on in my business that I had a particular client that was paying quite a lot of money, but they were quite high maintenance. You know, they would always send through a long checklist of things that were missed. They would need a follow-up call about things that were missed that week and that needed rectifying the following week. And, you know, dealing with these different clients can often be difficult. And, you know, at some stage, you know, you will need to make a decision in your cleaning business whether you want to continue serving particular high maintenance clients. And, you know, this is something that I see quite often as cleaning businesses scale, that you need to pick and choose your clients. You know, the client isn't always right. You shouldn't always be saying yes to particular clients. If you find that particular clients are sucking up all your time and energy and requesting refunds and money back and free cleans, then, you know, there is a strong case for not wanting or not serving those clients in the future. Because if they're taking up all your time and resource, it means there's less time to focus on your other business, your other clients or your other cleaners, and to ultimately grow your business. So the cleaning industry is one where you are still running and managing people. You know, you have technology and software and all these things around it, but at its heart, it is still a people management business. So if this is something that you don't like and you're not comfortable and you don't see yourself doing long term, then you really need to think twice about whether you continue with your pursuits in this industry. So point 2 is that competition is good, not bad. You know, I get this question asked very often by new business owners. You know, wherever they're based around the country or around the world, there'll be lots of cleaning businesses out there. There'll be individual cleaners that just have a few of their own clients. There'll be franchises and bigger operations with fleets of vehicles. And, you know, when you're starting out in business, you'll probably just see a plethora of all these cleaning companies out there. And, you know, a very common question I get asked is there too much competition in my area? Should I even get started in the first place? My feel is that competition is actually a good thing. It shows that there's lots of demand from clients for cleaning services. You know, if there wasn't, you know, the clientele out there looking for cleaning services, you'd probably see far fewer cleaning businesses. So you know that if you have lots of competition in your area, that there is the demand from clients. You know, that's not a question. The next question then becomes, okay, how do I outcompete these businesses? And the good news here is that particularly in this industry, it is really a very old school industry. Even the more established cleaning businesses, will be using very antiquated ways of running their business. Maybe they're still using pen and paper. Maybe they're not using software or technology. Maybe they don't have a very good website. And then you get all these individual cleaners who are working by themselves that don't have an organization behind them. So in theory, if you do know what you're doing, if you're smart around your marketing and recruitment and have a bit of business knowledge and expertise, you should be able to outcompete these other cleaning businesses and win their clients. So competition is a good thing, not a bad thing. Don't get too strung up on this particular issue. So if you're finding the content helpful so far, think about downloading my top 20 marketing channels for cleaning businesses guide. It's a free PDF. It goes through my top 20 channels that I think you should be focused in to really grow your business. So I'll leave a link in the description below. So point 3 is to focus on one niche. So within the cleaning industry, there are lots of different cleaning services that you can provide. At the very basic level, you should be thinking about, okay, do I want to be providing house cleaning or commercial cleaning? Do I want to be doing both? Obviously, within house cleaning, we've got lots of different niches. We've got, standard house cleaning where we're cleaning for homeowners, whether it's a one-off job or a weekly service or a bi-weekly service. You've got that particular niche within home cleaning. You've also got move in, move out cleaning, people moving in, moving out of their property. Maybe you've got people that have had renovation done, so post-construction cleaning is another niche. On the commercial side, we obviously have lots of different commercial properties. You've got offices, you've got restaurants, you've got bars, you've got car dealerships. So within the cleaning niche, within house cleaning and commercial cleaning, there's lots of different services that you could provide. Across both, you could also be looking at window cleaning, floor cleaning, carpet cleaning, all these things. So really my strong advice, particularly early on, is to focus on one niche. Don't try and provide lots of different services to all these different client types. It means that your expertise and your time will get diluted across all these service types. Cleaning commercial floors is a very different proposition to cleaning for a recurring homeowner. So I think that the very easiest place to start is within the home. So offering residential cleaning to people looking for service every week or every 2 weeks is a really great, low cost and simple place to get started. We all live on our own homes. We all know what a clean home looks like, and it's very easy to get started here. You don't need lots of specialist floor cleaning equipment and things like that. You'll need some cleaning products, some cloths, some scrubs, some brushes, those types of things. So I would focus on one particular niche within the cleaning industry to begin with. And it's, with this simplicity, you'll be able to grow quicker. You'll be able to get more expert in what you do. Your marketing will get more laser targeted. If you are the leading home cleaning provider in your area, that's a far stronger proposition for a potential client than, we're a cleaning company that offers all these different services. You'll just be seen as a generalist cleaning company as all these other companies out there. And if you are seen as a specialist, you'll be able to set higher prices, you'll be able to be seen as the expert, and high prices obviously mean more profit for you as the business. You can reinvest in things like marketing and recruitment, bring on a virtual assistant to help you run operations, and ultimately this will allow you to grow quicker, more profitably, and ultimately to pay you better as the business owner. So point 4 is not to underprice. This is a very common thing and a very default option that many people go to when setting up their business. And, I completely understand that is exactly what I did. We don't have any clients. We don't have any revenue at the beginning. So what's the easiest thing to do? It's to set your price lower than everyone else in the market. And, you will get clients doing that. So, that is absolutely true. And, setting a low price at the beginning can make sense. As a cleaning business, as I said, if you're doing recurring house cleaning, you probably don't have much in terms of costs, some products, maybe you've got a website, you certainly haven't got a virtual assistant, you haven't got a big team of cleaners, particularly if you're doing the cleaning yourself at the beginning. So a low price at the beginning can mean that you actually do generate some decent profit. But the issue with the low price is that it really holds you back if you want to scale and grow your business, because as your business grows, it will incur more costs, more fixed costs that you won't have had at the very start. So you'll be invested in things like marketing, your Google ads, Facebook ads, maybe you've got a nice website, you'll have software to help manage all your clients. You'll need to put money into recruitment to hire cleaners, some ads on Indeed, for example. And as the business gets bigger, you might be looking to get a virtual assistant to help with your day-to-day operations of running your business. So a low price as the business grows will generate you far less profit because you will need to pay for these additional costs. So if there's less left over, you're probably going to be reinvesting less in marketing. Marketing is the biggest driver for growth in your business. Maybe you won't be able to afford that virtual assistant, so you'll be busy in the field doing your cleaning as well as trying to manage all your clients as well, and you'll be getting burnt out doing this. So set a price that I would suggest looking at all the competition in your market, and in particular look at the franchises. The franchises often have a high cost base. They've been in business for a while, they know what works, and with that price, and they know that they still get clients. So I would be looking at the franchises in your area and trying to set a price similar to them, maybe a touch below. You certainly want to avoid any of the cleaners out there that are working by themselves. You might have seen some flyers or business cards, some adverts in local shops. That is not your competition. If you use pricing based on that competition, you will never be able to scale profitably. You need to look to the higher priced established businesses, the established franchises in your area. Set that price. Try to be quite disciplined about it. You will get fewer clients paying at that higher price versus a lower price, but you'll be surprised that you will probably end up making more profit from fewer higher paying clients than more clients paying a lower price. And it will also be far easier to manage. Having fewer higher paying clients will mean less time for you to manage those clients. And what you often find is lower paying clients can often be higher maintenance than the higher ones. That is something that is often quite surprising to a lot of people when getting involved in this business. So don't underprice your services. Look to the established cleaning businesses when setting the pricing for your cleaning business. So point 5 is then to always be marketing and recruiting. I see this so often. I've had this firsthand. Maybe you're running your business and you've got, say, 5 cleaners on your books. They're all really reliable. You really like them. There's a bit of capacity. That a couple of the cleaners are looking for more work. So you decide, to pause the recruitment ads that you're running on Indeed, for example. And that in the back of your mind, you've got space for another 5 recurring clients, and we'll just keep the client marketing running. We'll fill that. And then once we fill those schedules of our existing cleaners, then we can then go ahead and then recruit the next one. But that is a really, really bad way to do it, because unexpected things happen all the time. And this is particularly the case because we are managing people. I've seen it so often that even though you've got great cleaners on your books, for some reason, one of your cleaners might have to stop working straight away. Maybe they get injured, they have a car accident, or maybe they have a family member that needs them to look after them. Maybe one of their kids at school has to leave school for a period because they're hurt or something like that. And suddenly that capacity that you've had in your business completely gets obliterated. And now you've got all their existing clients to reallocate amongst your existing cleaners. This unexpected thing in your workforce happens so often. So we always need to be recruiting. And in the recruitment game, it is a numbers game. You'll be amazed for people, particularly getting started, and this was the case for me, that you will need to go through a lot of applicants to get a cleaner into your business. And for us, it would be 100 applicants for one cleaner that we would take on. And people don't show up for interviews, people will ghost you on a job offer. You'll get 2 people starting with you, and then after a week one of them drops out for whatever reason. So you really need to be interviewing and recruiting all the time. You need to be covering those unexpected circumstances where your existing cleaners may fall out of the workforce, and you need to make sure you can cover those unexpected scenarios, as well as having additional cleaners to continue to grow. And this is the case with your clients as well. More on the residential side, you'll often have lots of clients paying amounts of money, but you may get clients that have to unexpectedly move out of town. And obviously, if one of your clients is paying you a chunk of money and it's a large percentage of your revenue, you'll need to fill that hole quickly. If you don't have your client marketing turned on, then you'll need to get it ramped up again, or maybe that existing marketing channel isn't getting you enough client leads and book clients to cover that client that's had to cancel. So marketing and recruitment is always a case of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Don't pause your recruitment, don't pause your marketing. It's far better to keep them running all the time. You can tweak the budgets, you can bring down your marketing spend a little bit or bring down your recruitment. Don't pause them at any time, because unexpected things will happen. And if you do, you'll find that your growth very quickly stops, or you retract back. So always keep your marketing going, always keep your recruitment going, and this will ensure that you continue to grow your business with time. So marketing is a key driver in what we're doing to grow our business. And I firmly believe that even today, the focus of your marketing efforts should be on Google. It should be running Google ads, Google local service ads, and having a solid local SEO strategy to make sure that you're being visible in the map section of page 1 on Google. And that's what I want to talk about in my next video. I want to give you an introduction into what I call the Google domination strategy. If you have that set up and you've got all 3 channels working well, you'll never have a marketing issue. You want to be running those channels all the time, and you will find that your business will never have an issue with a lack of client leads. So I'll see you on the next one.